staying consistent at reading can be tough even for book lovers. And so today I'm going to be sharing some valuable tips and tricks that you can use to stay consistent at reading. So let's get started. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's Rachel here. As always, hit that subscribe button so you never miss a thing. You can also like this video so that it is referred to other viewers as well. Today I'm going to be sharing some amazing tips that could help you stay consistent at reading. I know that even for book lovers or people who even try to get into books at any point in their life find it difficult to stay consistent at reading. I would know because I've been in that quite a number of times. But I found that these simple tips that I'm going to share today can actually help you stay consistent at reading and just avoid reading slumps in general. So let's get to it. Number one, which I think is the most important tip to staying consistent at reading, is to read what you love. Like, oh my goodness, I cannot say this enough. Like, read what you love, read what you enjoy, even if it is not what is in vogue at that particular time, even though it is not what is reigning on book Twitter or Bookstagram or any other book aspect of social media. Just read what you love. Pick up books that you actually like to read and not necessarily everything that you see that people are reading at some particular point. The truth is, you can always be open to recommendations, but still it's very important that you read what you love. It may be an old book that nobody knows about, it may be a very recent book, it may be a book by an undiscovered author or somebody who is even your friend, or you've gotten some recommendation from somebody. The point is, read what you love. Number two, to staying consistent at reading, is to have a reading goal. So what you can do at the beginning of the year or at the beginning of the month is to have a goal of how many books you want to read or the quality of books that you want to read. So your reading goal does not always have to be in terms of quantity. It could also be in quality. It could also be in exploring the kind of genres that you want to, or reading different formats of books, which I'm coming to. But just have a goal. You can preferably write it down so that it's something that you come back to occasionally, just to track how consistent you've been throughout the month. And also, in setting those goals, you want to also put some sort of plans down on how you're going to implement them, which leads to my third tip, which is to eliminate distractions. When you're trying to read, to stay consistent, you need to eliminate distractions. In our world today, there are loads and loads of distractions, even especially that come only from our phone. If it's not email, it's WhatsApp, it's Twitter, it's Facebook, it's Instagram, it's one app or the other. Our phones are constantly blinking or ringing or going off, and so even when you read a page of a book, or even before you read a sentence, there's some form of distraction. So what you want to do is try to find an isolated time that you can read, where you will eliminate all form of distractions. This will help you to even achieve that daily reading goal that you may have set for yourself. The fourth tip would be to be okay with not finishing books. A lot of us who like to read, or a lot of us who are entering into reading for the first time, or are just trying to develop a reading habit, often have that issue of not finishing books. Like, you feel guilty, like, oh my goodness, I didn't finish this book, so at the end of the day, I didn't even read it, I didn't do that, blah, blah, blah. But be okay with not finishing books. Why? Because oftentimes you may pick up a book that you're not really interested in, that somebody may have recommended to you. The person may have sworn by the book that it's the best thing since sliced bread or agege bread, and then you now pick it up and you're not feeling the book, and then you start feeling guilty, like, oh my goodness, but everybody hyped this book. No, dump the book, like, dump it, and be okay with dumping it. Like, yeah, I didn't like it, I didn't see what the hype was about, and it's okay, dump it, just so that you don't end up entering into a reading slump, because books that you may not like have the ability to throw you into a reading slump, and before you come out of it, it's going to take a while. So be okay with not finishing books. We call them DNFs, which are did not finish. The fifth tip would be to try different formats of books. This is one way that you can stay consistent at reading. So if for months you've been reading hard copy books, try e-copy books, like either on your iPad, on your computer, on your phone. Try audiobooks, try different forms of books, try graphic novels, try comics, try different things. And I feel that people often think that a book should just be prose written in between the hard covers of a physical book, and that's all that defines a book. But do some research, you will find that there are amazing different formats, and that could also keep you consistent at reading. Also explore genres that you would not ordinarily get into. So for example, if you're used to reading only non-fiction, self-help books by a particular type of authors, maybe in a geographical location, you can expand your reach. And if you're trying to be careful, you can try self-help non-fiction in other jurisdictions. Then you can go to non-fiction in other subgenres like memoirs, essays, biographies, autobiographies, and then you can gradually go to fiction. And I think that this also entails having an open mind generally, because what you will get from these books, whatever genre that it may come in, is amazing. There's always something to enjoy. There might not be a lesson to learn, it might just be for the entertainment or whatever, but the most important thing is to have an open mind, because sometimes what you find is that doing the same thing over and over again might make you get bored and you feel like, oh, this is just part of my routine, even if it's something that you really love. So always find a way to spice it up with different genres. My 7th tip would be to join a book club or to get an accountability partner. I cannot even tell how amazing like this thing has really helped me. Getting a buddy reader, like somebody who could read a book with you, or an accountability partner who also loves to read books, or just joining a book club, what you get from this is really, really amazing. So there are times when you don't even feel like reading books. You've probably not even read the book of the month that your book club has selected, but you go for a book club meet and you hear people talking about this book, or just giving their perspectives on things about this book, what they liked, what they didn't like, and you have really good conversation, especially if you're a book lover. It's just so awesome to just be sitting down there and listening to that, and that sort of gives you motivation to go back to read the book. The truth is that after the book club, you may still not pick up the book, but you have this motivation to read something else, and that's something that could keep you consistent at reading. So if you cannot find an accountability partner, do some research, find local book clubs that are in your vicinity, or online book clubs that you can join, so that could help you continue to read as you go along. My 8th tip would be to go at your own pace. Oh my goodness, I cannot say this enough. There are people who are what we call fast readers, like they can read 50 books in a month. Some people can even read 3 books in a day, and that's not even it's not even on anything. They're not losing anything. They're literally having the same experiences with you, believe it or not. You that is reading that book comfortably, maybe for 2 months or whatnot. The most important thing is to go at your own pace. Remember that reading should be enjoyed. You should enjoy it. You're doing it because you enjoy it. So don't compare yourself to someone else. Don't compare your journey to someone else's journey, or your pace at reading to another person's pace at reading. Pick what you like to read and go at your own pace. My last tip would be to try reading multiple books at once. A lot of book lovers, or people who try to venture into reading for the first time, or who try to develop a reading habit, often express concerns that if I'm reading multiple books at once, wouldn't I mix up the plot, especially if it's fiction or whatever? I don't know, if I pick up this book, I might think that this person is inside this other book when the person is not there. I totally disagree. But if that works, if that's what happens for you, then maybe you should ignore this tip. But if it's something that you've not tried before, you should actually open your mind to trying it out. Reading multiple books at once help you to select whatever book you feel like reading at that particular time. The thing about it is, if you say, I'm reading one book at a time, and when I finish this book, then I'm going to pick up the next book. Next week, you may not really be feeling like reading that particular book. You may want something funny, and that book may actually not be so funny. Maybe one of those books that make you feel like crying, and you're like, you know what, I need something light, I need something hearted. So when you're reading multiple books, you can try across genres, and you can try across formats. So you can be reading a hard copy book of one fiction book, or listening to an audio book of a non-fiction book. Just try to mix things up generally, and this would give you an ultimately great reading experience, and also keep you consistent at reading. What you find is that when you spice things up, or you open your mind up to a variety of different formats, genres, lengths of books, different kinds of books, different designs of books, what you find is that you keep on looking for more kinds of books like that, and you stay consistent at reading, whatever you call it. It could be articles, it could be journals, it could be magazines, it could be short stories, it could be manuscripts, whatever the case may be. But the most important thing is to explore variety. So with these few tips of mine, I hope that I've been able to share them. I was about to say I hope I've been able to convince you and not confuse you. But I hope that I've been able to give you amazing, great tips that could help you have a better reading experience and stay consistent at reading. If there are any other tips that I've mentioned that are not in this list of tips, please leave them in the comments below so that other people can watch as well. Let me know if they were also valuable to you in the comments. Hit that like button and I will see you in my next video. Bye.